1, 2, 3, 4. Chop, chop, chop.
It's cure of the what now?
Gather the ingredients.
Cure of the what now?
Not much time to prep before it's time to start the show.
Oh!
Guests are arriving.
Cure of the what now?
Everybody's smiling.
Cure of the what now?
A tasty party starting. Now it's time to go. Woo!
Ooh, served hot and fresh.
Itadakimasu. Hello, all you Christmas miracles, and welcome to episode 18 of
Cure of the what now? Yum.
the one show where we know the true magic was the magic of friendship, Christmas, etc. It's Christmas in July, is what it is. Thanks, sweet PreCure.
Yeah, absolutely. Please note that this episode will not actually be going out in July. We'll be releasing it pretty shortly after recording.
Well, yeah, but like,
it's close.
Basically July.
Yeah.
It's gonna be July this weekend. That makes this a week in July. My name is Kat, I'm your host, and I made way too much potato salad. I just wanted friends. Please, sir, enjoy this handful of wet potato mixture.
Thank you for this wonderful gift. I'm your co-host, Joel, and also, I've been sealed inside of a stone tablet. I've sacrificed myself in order to save my family, so that they might fight on without me.
Now, in this episode, listen for my signature catchphrase, and if you tweet it at me, you will win. I'm not saying you'll win anything in particular, but you will win.
You might get your tweet might get a like.
Yes.
From the official Pirate Ghost Host Twitter account.
Exactly. It's funny because this is really a joke just for us, because it's a reference to the crossover episode we did with another podcast, but they don't listen to this podcast, so only we are gonna laugh.
Well, and I don't even think that was during the episode. I think that was pre-recording or post-recording we were talking with.
That makes it even better.
Yes.
That said, do you have any news or announcements for us?
Well, I mean, I think you just beautifully kind of led the way into news and announcements. So we here at Cure of the What Now also occasionally do a One Piece podcast, or we did do a One Piece podcast that's on indefinite hiatus called King of the What Now. And in that respect, we made friends with another podcasting group called Paramecia Fancast. They are a One Piece fancast podcast that covers the latest chapters of the manga and have a different One Piece related discussion every week. I believe I got their intro pretty close to how they say it. But one of the two hosts is on hiatus for a little while. They've got some life changes. They just got married and they just moved, so they need a little break. So Kat and I filled in the team. So there are 2 episodes out currently, and I believe that we're going to do a third, and then Franz will come back and do their regularly scheduled podcasting, and we'll go back to our little magical girl corner of the internet.
Absolutely. John and Franz have extremely good vibes. They are just fun folks. So if you have any interest in the One Piece realm at all, definitely go check out their work.
I do occasionally try to self-censor myself a little bit to make sure that my language is more appropriate for the age group of PreCure watchers. But on that show, I just, all bets are off. The chains are unleashed. The F-bomb is dropped at least once an episode, I think.
Joel, unchained, unfiltered. He says what's on his mind. As a comedian, his job is to challenge you.
Oh dear.
He doesn't say anything edgy, just, the F word. The other piece of news/announcements, y'all probably noticed we didn't release an episode last week. Whoopsie, our bad. This episode is going to be a combination of the episodes we were supposed to watch last week, plus the new Delicious Party. I decided to do it that way because that's easier than trying to record and edit and post 2 full episodes, also watch all the stuff for it on time. That way we can get back on our regular schedule, and hopefully you all won't show up at our house to murder us.
Absolutely.
They need their content, Joel. The people demand content.
The algorithm is a merciless beast that has no morals. It only has zeros, ones, and upvotes. Yeah, absolutely. With the global pandemic being a thing and people still feeling the after effects of that, and there's all sorts of other events happening in America and nationwide. So just take care of yourselves, So that's kind of partially what happened with us, and that's why we took a little bit of a break. But hopefully we will be back to a weekly schedule. Although next week, I guarantee the episode will be out later in the week rather than earlier in the week, as we will be doing 4th of July Independence Day festivities, which will push back the time of recording.
You know what? I actually want to touch on that, Joel. Great segue. Joel, for those of you who don't know, has type 1 diabetes, formerly referred to as juvenile diabetes, and every year his mom puts a lot of effort into a community fundraising event, and so we're going to volunteer with that. If you are interested in helping, you can go to the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, JDRF's website, and you can donate money. They use that to develop new technologies. So like Joel has an insulin pump that's really cool that reads his blood sugar and responds to it. And they also use it to research cures. So it's really important work and it is very close to our hearts.
This disease absolutely sucks. I've learned to manage with it, but I've had it for, it's 2022. So it'll be 26 years later in November. And I absolutely hate it, and I'm glad that all of the kiddos that are getting diagnosed with it these days have more technology to help them, but I would really love to just get rid of it absolutely altogether.
Absolutely. Although I will say, so when you were a kid, you know, you checked your blood sugar at school with the school nurse or whatever, I assume.
Yes.
Right? I have a coworker whose son has type 1 diabetes, and she can see his blood sugar from her phone.
Oh.
So she can see, like, did you give yourself insulin? Are you managing it correctly? Can you imagine if your mom had had that kind of power when you were a kid?
I love my mom, but I don't need people knowing what my blood sugar is. I already get enough crap for, did you measure out the exact number of Honey Nut Cheerios? No, because I'm 32 and I have a depression. I don't always weigh out my Cheerios, thank you.
I was so excited. I was so excited the other day to tell Joel, I found out that 1 gram of carbs raises your blood sugar by this many points, so you can do science and eat the exact number of carbs. And he went, I'm not doing that. I won't. I'm not doing it.
Well, because, like, what am I going to do? Weigh out the exact number of, like, I don't know, like, maybe peanuts have, like, a small number of carbs, like, per serving, but, like, usually if my blood sugar's low, I just eat a Rice Krispie treat. What am I gonna do? Cut it in half? Cut it into 3/8 in order to get the exact number of carbs I need?
My mom told me to cut them into tiny, like, 1 gram squares.
Oh my goodness gracious.
My mom is also a person who I love, but who should never have the ability to see someone's blood sugar via an app. It's just, it's power that would only cause the moms of the world anxiety, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Getting into the main episode, we usually do discussion questions. You have kind of a deer in the headlights look.
Well, I don't know, man. It's a super cash week. I kind of forgot.
It's a cash week. It's a casual week. All right, here's my discussion question then. Which of the delicious party girls would look the cutest in a 4th of July outfit? Like with sparklers and maybe a little hat.
Gosh, all 3 of the girls we have this season for PreCure are adorable in their own way, because Yui has, boundless energy and enthusiasm, and Ran also has kind of boundless enthusiasm, but it's in kind of a more, like, I guess, Mimi way, and I guess Yui is more kind of, like, nurturing way, I suppose. And if you put Kokone in a fancy outfit or a different outfit or a dress-up outfit, I think it would be cute because she would probably be shy about it, so you'd be able to get excited for that. But I think I might have to go... I think Yui's my girl. What about you?
I feel like Ran just... She's really got that party girl energy, and I could just see her decked out from head to toe in red, white, and blue, in glittery sequins, in those, like, Mardi Gras beads, but with little flags on them. And, like, I know 4th of July is an American holiday, and these are Japanese characters, right? I'm not trying to push my culture onto them. It's just that there's, like, cute outfits I associate with 4th of July, and...
Yeah, when you were talking about Ran, her real name's Ran, but she calls herself Ran. I'm just gonna interchangeably go between the two. I can't figure out what words are coming out of my mouth.
Right, Mari is a they, them, and Ran is a Ran.
Absolutely. Happy Pride Month, everyone. No, when you're talking about Ran's outfit, the first thing that came to mind, and this isn't related to the 4th of July at all, but I imagined Ran wearing the sunglasses that are in the shape of current year for New Year's, the 2023 glasses, the 2022 glasses, or those shader glasses.
Oh, yes,
I
the
never
shutter
understood the
shades.
point of those, but she would definitely be the type to wear them.
The only point is that they look kind of ballin'.
Okay, kind of ballin' is one word for it. I would say kind of dorky, for my personal fashion taste.
Things can be two things.
Oh, I see, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's been your discussion question.
Wait. Have you seen that internet video of the dachshund with the Roman candle and it's running and the people are running away from it? Because the dog's too stupid to know or doesn't realize that it's shooting like these fireballs of death.
Yeah.
Just imagine that with Kome Kome.
She picks it up in her hands and is just running back to Yui. You dropped this! I got it for you! Kome, no!
Goodness.
Also, that, what do you have, a knife?
Oh, yeah. But with Kome Kome, you think?
Yeah, or Mem Mem and Ran Ran. So Ran Ran's got the knife. Mem Mem is the one who goes, no! Her and her crunchy cutter blades. Ultra crunchy cutter blades.
That's right. They've gotten an upgrade. Well, they've had an upgrade for a while, but that's what they're called now.
All of my noodles have evolved by one step.
But yeah, I'm sorry, you wanted to segue into the next section, and if I can read your mind, you would like me to tell our listeners what episodes we watched.
Yeah, I think that would be fantastic.
Excellent. We watched episodes 15 and 16 of Delicious Party. We stuck to just one episode of Max Heart 15 this week. Despite the doctor's note, we just somehow didn't find the time to watch Max Heart. Oh no, what a shame. And then we watched episodes 44 and 45 of Sweet PreCure. Catherine, which one would you like me to succinctly summarize first?
Hit me with the Max Heart summary. Actually, that's not how I even ask you. Joel, what happened in Max Heart this week?
In Max Heart episode 15, Hikaru, or Hikari, gosh dang it, every time.
He's so depressed he couldn't even yell nothing.
Hikari. This episode actually was slightly more substantive than other episodes, and I kind of liked it.
I liked this episode a lot. What did Hikari do?
She made friends with two classmates, one of whom was voiced by none other than Erika Mother Flippin' Kurumi. Best voice actress in all of PreCure because she also she voiced Erika Kurumi, sorry.
Although, yeah, I was going to say this show came first, so technically Erika Kurumi was voiced by her.
No. Erika Kurumi transcends time. That's how this all works.
That's fair. That's valid. So, she made friends with Erika Kurumi and Sports Girl.
Yeah, one of them was named Kaguya, and one of them last name was Tabata, which I recognize because one is a reference to the Moon Princess, and one is that one festival they have, I think, on July 7th every year. She made friends. She went out. These two girls, it turns out that they are friends, or they're not. They like idolize Nagisa and Honoka, and Hikari is just like, they're my friends, they're regular girls, and they're like, oh my god, you know the goddess Honoka and the goddess Nagisa, and then they play a basketball game. And that's it.
Also, the girls are talking about which boys they like, and they say, who do you like, Hikari? And Hikari says, Nagisa, I guess?
Yeah. Well, it was kind of funny because they were like, oh, I definitely think that this guy on the basketball team is so dreamy, and the other girl's like, oh yeah, he's so dreamy. And then they turn to Hikari and they say, who do you like look up to and who do you respect? And so I was kind of like, oh, were they just talking about their crushes and now they're talking about like just in general people you look up to? Or was this always supposed to be a romantic question? But yeah, she definitely goes, Nagisa, I guess.
So that was pretty funny. You said you liked this episode. What did you like about it?
I said it was more substantive. But I don't know, you just kind of get this, how do I say it? Nagisa and Honoka are kind of like the stars of their individual fields. Nagisa is known as like this athletic superstar, and Honoka is known as like the super genius woman. And so it's just interesting to see younger classmen who kind of look up to them like that, you know? When I was in high school, I was on the cross country team, and our number one runner, our varsity guy, was just leagues ahead of all the other runners. Like, you know, they could train as hard as they want, but they probably weren't going to take that number one spot. He just seemed to be naturally good at it. And so I kind of, you know, I could relate to that a little bit. I didn't like idolize the guy, but I definitely understand people like always talking about this one specific person in a certain context. You know, did you hear that Honoka discovered a new element? We're going to be energy secure by 2023 or whatever.
Excellent. Oh man, that's next year.
It is.
But this show came out in like 2008. So imagine if they had made a reference to something happening in 2023.
Absolutely. They use psychohistory. Honoka is the only person who is capable of peering into the future.
I'm not gonna lie, man. Time freaks me out so bad. I think about how some things I enjoyed as a kid came out 20 years ago, and I go, that's not right, though. Because 20 years ago is a long time. People, if it came out 20 years ago, someone was born when this came out and is an adult now. That's just wrong morally.
See, this is why reboots are such a good thing, because what's the one that's coming out next month? Tokyo Mew Mew. So now you can say Tokyo Mew Mew came out in 2022.
Perfect,
and it wasn't 20 years ago, it was last week.
It was yesterday. It happened. By the way, we won't cover it because this is a PreCure podcast, but we absolutely will probably be like, hey, the new Tokyo Mew Mew was good, because I love Tokyo Mew Mew, and it's a magical girl show, so I feel like it's topical.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway.
It's or more topical than, say, like, The Boys, or Westworld, or Umbrella Academy.
I love that you just named 3 shows that are not content-friendly to the target audience of this podcast.
That's what I'm saying. Those are shows that we enjoy for the most part, but they're also for a completely different audience. And could you imagine a magical girl transformation in Umbrella Academy? I bet you they could actually pull it off. They do some weird stuff in that show.
No, I think they could, too. Imagine The Boys with its same energy, but everything is, like, pastel and girly. But it's, like, the same, like, violence and butts are out.
Oh, my gosh. And Proud Maeve has come out as a straight woman. She only dates one gender,
so
nothing
brave.
else.
So brave of her to say. Whew, I also liked this episode for the same reasons that you listed. I like that Hikari is developing relationships. I think it's funny that Seikun is still being tormented by the passion one.
Yeah.
She's just following her
Oh,
around.
yeah. Piran is all like, oh my god, they're putting their heart and soul into this. It's so beautiful. And Seikun is just like, yeah, you think so? Oh my gosh, this is so interesting.
Could you please get in the chair act? By the way, you mentioned something last week about Seikun being in the chair act, but then coming back out. She has never gone in because she has to be last.
Okay. Yeah. I guess. Like, I agree. I just don't feel as though they've explained it.
I think they said it once, like when she showed up or when the chair act showed up. But friends on another podcast, PreCure Podcast Engage, mentioned it. And I went, oh, yeah, okay, I remember that now.
Gotcha. The other thing, there's 2 other notes that I want to point out really quickly. The fight was actually a little bit more dynamic. It's still using that old animation trick. If you watch, like, Superman from, like, the 1980s, like the Super Friends, and there's a scene of it raining, just watch the raindrops, because they didn't actually animate rain falling. They have 2 frames, rain 1 and rain 2, and they just go back and forth between it, but because the raindrops are in different locations, it creates the illusion of it falling. So in Futariwa and Max Heart, they will have Nagisa throw a right punch and then a left punch, and then they'll just loop that a couple of times. But they were moving more quickly. They were actually, like, throwing punches. Other Futariwa fights and Max Heart fights, it feels like they're like, eh. But in this one, it felt like they were like, ora, ora!
It was very fluid. I liked it a lot.
The other thing to point out is that I guess the bad guys still haven't figured out that the tiny little fairy things are related to the Queen's resurrection. I don't know how they couldn't.
They know it's related, but they haven't figured out how.
Yeah, but there was something, he said something like, what's the relationship with the Queen? And Nagisa said something dumb like, what? No, there's no relation. And then he goes, okay, so there is a relationship. So, how many episodes are there this season? Like 48 or something like that. So we have, another 33 episodes of him slowly piecing it together as to what this could possibly mean. So that's very exciting. I don't think we got a single shot of the kid doing little kid things this episode.
No, we didn't. I don't remember him.
Maybe he's finally gone. They wrote him off.
Maybe he's finally dead.
The actor got another higher paying job, so he's been written out of the show. Please tell me that that's the case.
There you go.
Well, all right. Now that we've gotten that appetizer out of the way, we can move on to either... Which do you want? Do you want to go to the main dish, or want to treat ourselves to dessert first? I must also note that we have a double serving of the main dish this week.
See, I kind of think of sweet as, like, the salad course.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
But it's called sweet. I know it's a homonym or whatever that word is when they have...
Homophone?
Is that when they sound the same but they have different meanings?
Yeah.
Okay. But anyways, okay, so do you want to...
Let's talk about Sweet.
Okay, perfect. We watched episodes 44 and 45, or 45 and 40... No, 44 and 45. Gosh darn it.
Okay?
I'm having a stroke. Okay. Episode 44 is the corporate mandated Christmas episode. And in it, Hibiki and Ellen and all of the girls, Akko and whatever, they decide that they're going to do a Christmas concert type of a thing to cheer up the town. And it's something that they do every year is the impression that I got. And a bunch of other people show up to help them out. Soda is there, and Seika-chan is there, and Wan is there, and Oji-sama is there. And they're all like, let's all work together to make Cannon Town amazing, and whatever. And then Noise shows up and turns them all to stone, except for the PreCure girls and Otokichi, because Otokichi's pipe organ was able to protect them. And then he turns the legendary score into a ubazao, but not an ubazao. It's a negatone. Turns into a negatone, and Hibiki goes, I'm sorry, legendary score, we didn't mean to we don't want to fight you. You want to bring joy to people, not sorrow, so we'll finish this. And the power of friendship restores them to their PreCure powers, because remember, they lost their heart clefts last episode. So that's where that episode ends, and then the next episode is Noise-sama and Falsetto attacking Major Land, and Aphrodite is like, I can protect my people, and then Noise-sama's like, are you sure about that? And he uses a really powerful attack and breaks the barrier. But then it turns out that Otokichi has a frickin' flying bird turtle island thing that's attached to the pipe organ, and he's brought them to Major Land, and they attack Noise, and Otokichi attacks Noise with a pipe organ laser beam type thing, and they're going to seal him, but it doesn't work because Noise-sama has gotten stronger. And Otokichi ends up getting sucked into a vortex where he's going to be sealed in the same stone that Noise-sama was.
No.
And Akko goes to save him, and he pushes her away and goes, I leave it up to you. And she's really like, oh my gosh, Grandpa, no! And at the end of the episode, all 4 PreCure girls have been caught by Noise-sama's negative energy and are also going to be turned to stone. But Crescendo Tone sacrifices herself. I assume she uses she pronouns. But sacrifices herself in order to save them from the evil clutch, and she's been taken and sealed inside of the stone. And then Noise leaves, because I think at this point he is so beat up that he can't continue the fight. He had enough energy to try to seal them, but only enough mana to cast it once, and so now he's out and has to take a long rest.
Yeah.
That's been your succinct summary!
That was an incredible succinct summary. You, zipped right through that.
Oh, yeah.
Did you like these episodes?
I liked them quite a bit, yeah. I'm just... first off, I really like any character dressed up as Santa for Christmas episodes. That's always nice. And it once again had the whole town is here kind of feel that we got a couple of episodes ago. And I think that that's really important to remind us what are the stakes for the girls fighting to defeat the noise of despair or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about you?
I liked these episodes okay. I felt like they kind of got their PreCure powers back for no reason. Which, of course they did. It's PreCure. But it would have been cool if they had, I don't know, maybe gotten a new transformation from some other source. Like if the citizens of the town had been helping them, and that help created new G-clefs in the hearts of all the people, and those went to the PreCure and gave them a new transformation. I would have liked that.
Yeah. I will say, too, another thing when I was watching this episode, I was a little confused because the episode starts with Hibiki receiving presents from Mom and Dad for Christmas or whatever, and she seems to kind of be her usual self. She seems to be putting on a
brave face.
A brave face. Thank you. Yeah, I was going to say a tough act. I'm like, that's not exactly. But I think that if the world's literally going to end, I think it would have made more sense if she had been more depressed and had even a harder time being like, thanks, Mom, thanks, Dad. And instead of going to talk with the other girls, maybe she could have been like, I don't feel like celebrating, I'm just gonna lay in bed or whatever, and maybe her dad and her mom could have, like, played a song that cheered her up, and that could have been like, oh, music does bring joy to people. Like, I think that would have been a better way to reignite the flame or the score, or whatever you want to call the term.
I think so, too. Is there anything else you want to shout out from these episodes?
Pipe organ laser cannon.
Pipe organ laser cannon. Yeah, like that is a sentence that stands on its own. Also, I want to say, I've said this before, but I'll say it again.
Yeah, a sleigh cannot travel the world at Mach 10.
No, this season is so dark. They Han Solo'd Grandpa.
Yeah, they really did.
You can't Han Solo Grandpa. Oh man, between this and them almost killing Mephisto, like, I don't know, man. I don't know how Heartcatch got the
oh yeah, the darkest timeline or whatever.
As the dark season when Sweet exists.
Oh yeah, I believe that Mephisto, I can't remember if we had an episode with him or not, but he is bedridden after he sacrificed himself and took in all of the negative energy of bass drum and baritone. Speaking of which, they've mysteriously vanished. I assume that they're maybe doing an underground resistance, or maybe they're just hiding because they know that if Noise finds them, maybe he will mind control them again or something. But I expected them to show up at some point, and we have 3 episodes left. So I'm hoping that they show up and they do something.
Other than that, is there anything else that you're kind of hoping for from the finale?
I mean, honestly, I know it's not going to happen, but one needs to be her own PreCure. Really, okay, Seika and Kanade have a cute relationship, but, like, one, like, she kind of has the same relationship with Hibiki that Kirishima has with Bakugo in My Hero Academia,
just
right?
Just an empty-headed devotion.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'll be the horse and I won't fall no matter what. Like, I think that she would be a great addition to the team. That's not going to happen, but I really wish that it would.
That would be fantastic. I love the seasons where everybody is PreCure now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We got a super transformation for Hibiki in the movie, and did this one come after the other one that we just finished watching? The Fresh PreCure. Yeah, this one came after Fresh, right?
Yeah.
So in Fresh, we got a super form in the movie that was only for the main cure, and then in the finale of the season, they all got that transformation. And so in this season that came immediately after, you got a super form in the movie that only the main cure got, and so I'm hoping that we will get that form for all 4 of them coming up.
I think that'd be good. I would like to see Akko decide to stay in the human world with Soda and the girls, but I think she's probably going to go home.
Yeah, I can't think of a time when we've had a 6th Ranger that came from another plane of existence that wasn't able to, or that stayed in the human world, although they usually retain some visitation rights on the weekends or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's kind of what I would like to see, but I'm curious to see how it wraps up. As a reminder for all you fine folks out there, we will be watching all 3 as our finale for Sweet, and then we will move on to another season.
Absolutely. I believe it's Catherine's turn to pick, and who knows, maybe she will play the lawful card and go, we will watch the next chronological season that we haven't yet watched, which could arguably be Splash Star or Yes Precure 5. Or maybe she'll play the chaotic card and say, I'm just going to watch whichever one makes me feel the best.
Oh, I have some chaotic evil in store for you, husband mine.
Evil? Oh no, you're gonna make me watch Futari Wa again, aren't you?
Glitter Force.
What?
Glitter Force.
We've watched Glitter Force. That wasn't so bad.
Yeah. But it's coming, I think.
Okay.
I really want to do kind of like we did our big PreCure episode where I covered Kira Kira and you covered Star Twinkle. I really think it would be fun for one of us to take actual Spile PreCure and one of us to take Glitter Force, and then we compare notes. I don't know if we'll do that next, but I think it would be funny.
All right. Now, so I think that means that we can move on to our main course.
Yeah, I would love to hear you talk about Delicious Party. Why don't you summarize? It was episode 45 and 56, right?
Yeah, it was episode 73 and -4. I don't know how they managed to do it. Those crazy people numbering all of their episodes, they pulled it off the impossible. No. So we watched episodes 15 and 16 of Delicious Party PreCure. They are both character episodes. So episode 15 is about Kokone. They have a picnic at class because I think the cafeteria was closed for like renovations or something. And so they're going to eat outside, and Kokone's never been to a picnic, and it's a chance for them to all kind of mingle with each other. And Kokone is really nervous and she wants to be friends with a bunch of people. It turns out that she was so busy trying to entertain people that she forgot to eat. And what's most important is that you should eat at these events. We get a little bit of backstory about her, I think butler might be the right word, chauffeur, but it turns out that he, last name Todoroki, which is another connection to My Hero, but it turns out that he discovered that he has a passion for arrangements of food. He likes it when it's presented nicely, and he has his own Curesta account or whatever, and there's a little bit of a mystery throughout the episode of who could it be posting this, but as soon as he had an extra speaking line in this episode, I went, it's probably him, he seems to be like a really, he's a butler, he would appreciate the tidiness of it or whatever, and that's how that episode ends. It was pretty good. I liked it. And then in episode 16, we get a Ran episode. So she, at the beginning of the episode, is talking to her egg sandwich or something. She's talking to her food, whatever it was. And some guy in their class who will be named Kuwabara in the long history of us naming characters in the show after Yu Yu Hakusho characters. And Kuwabara sees her talking to the sandwich and posting on her Instagram and says that she's weird, and she gets really flustered. So she does that thing. I don't know if anyone else has ever done that thing, but I personally did this thing when I was younger. She tries to act super normal so she won't be accused of being weird. And Yui's like, what's wrong? And she explains the situation. And it turns out that when Ran was little, she was so excited about food that her friends, stopped being her friends. Which, I mean, talking about food, that's one of the most innocuous things you could talk about, She's not talking about, I don't know, giant man-eating tarantulas, like something that would gross out the other girls or something.
This is just Himarine's backstory.
Oh yeah,
She was neurodivergent in public, and people were mean about it, and so she was like, I must always be neurodivergent in the shadows.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what happened. But Yui tries to confront Kuwabara about it and is like, hey, stop telling these stories. And he gets kind of defensive, and he's like, no, she was being weird and I called her weird. What's so weird about that? And it turns out that he tells a lot of stories, so he's a little bit like the Usopp of this school group. But maybe he's lonely because his parents are constantly away at business, and his brother moved away to America to become a spaceship engineer or something, some kind of space engineer. And so he's a little lonely, and they bring Rain out of her depression by asking her to make some ramen, and they reignite her passion. And then she spies on him eating some beef stew or something.
Weird thing to do, Ran.
Yeah, but she just takes a bite out of it, which causes all of the shipwriters to be like, oh my gosh, we got another one. Hot one coming in, boys. Get those typing hands ready. And they bond over food, and she makes some food for him the next day because his brother is no longer available to make him a packed lunch, and so Ran makes a recipe that Yui's mom uses to make the bento box, and it's expected AMV synchronized to some accidentally in love song or something, right? And that's been your succinct summary.
It got a little lost at the end there, but I think you did a pretty good job.
I believe the technical term is lost in the sauce, which is appropriate for a food-related. Anyways.
No, I just want to say, the Kokone episode was fine. Kokone's cute, whatever. The Ran episode was probably my favorite episode so far this season.
Okay, really?
So this season is really funny. Like, it and Tropical Rouge don't feel like some of my other favorite PreCure seasons. They don't really feel story heavy.
They're cash.
Yeah, they're extremely cash, but they're a lot of fun. And so this episode was fun, but it also had an element of, oh, this is who this character is. She puts on this affectation of being like the popular girl when really she just wants to be a nerd about food. And that's why she has a secret Instagram account, so that she can get that out on the internet for strangers to enjoy.
If you try to keep your passion all inside, eventually you'll explode. But by releasing the pressure a little bit, by posting pictures too.
Yeah, and I can relate with Ran because Ran is really into food, and she tweets pictures of food, and I was really into vampires at her age, and I was on a lot of vampire forums. Not to the extent of a friend of mine who had somebody claim to be a vampire and ask for a vial of her blood in the mail. She didn't know how to go about getting a vial of her blood, so she never fulfilled that request, but if you're listening to this and strangers online are asking for your bodily fluids, don't give it to them. That's foolish. Don't do that.
Yeah. Not only is that bad in normal circumstances and creepy and whatever, but what if they happen to get isekai into the world where blood magic is real? You don't want to mess with that.
Right. Well, and what if that person really is a vampire and you just so happen to have the tastiest blood in the world? And then they get addicted to you, and then they come find you in person. Nobody wants that. That'd be messed up.
I say let people fall in love with vampires if they're consenting adults.
If they're consenting adults, that's key. She was 11, and this was a 20-year-old.
Let's go call Chris Hansen real quick. This might be his first cold case, but I think he'd be willing to take up the flag.
Yeah, right? They didn't technically do anything illegal, Hansen, but they did ask for her blood, and that's weird, right? That's weird.
He just, Chris Hansen slams his fist into the desk. William, he knows the name of the guy. This has happened before. This is the one case that he's never been able to crack.
But no, I really liked this episode.
Yeah, and it's always nice when you get another character who shows up who actually gets, a personality. So you had a little bit of a glimpse into Kaguya and Tabata from Max Heart, but I wouldn't say that I really know much about their characters. I don't know much about the other two girls that were in Nagisa's class, except that one of them says, really, really, really? She always says words 3 times in a row, but I don't know what their personal lives are like. I don't know what they like to do. I don't know. But with Kuwabara, he has a brother, and he likes Mitsu, and he likes it when it's sweet, and he's lonely, and I get that. Yeah, I can totally relate to that, as opposed to random classmate number 3 who is a girl and likes to shop. I'm yeah, okay, that's fine.
I've seen this before, and it has nothing to do with me.
I've seen The Princess Diaries. She'll have a makeover halfway through the movie. I haven't actually seen The Princess Diaries. I assume that
What?
I assume that there's a mid-movie makeover where she goes from traditionally unattractive to traditionally very attractive.
Mid-movie? That's the first thing that happened. You haven't seen the what? No! Shut up! Shut up! We're gonna have a movie night. That's it. That's all I have to say to you. We're gonna have movie night. You have to see the print. Next, you're gonna tell me you've never seen Lilo and Stitch or something, some other iconic movie. You've never seen 13 Going on 30. Before you say you haven't, you have, because I've played it.
I was about to say I hadn't seen it until you should. I'm not a girl. When I was younger, I only interested myself in things that I considered for boys.
That's true.
Now that I'm older, I like things a little bit more that are for girls, but it really depends.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. I lost trail of the conversation.
I was saying I've seen it before with the girls who like shopping or whatever, and how Kuwabara has more of a personality and a story behind.
Absolutely. You know what I like about this season as a whole?
What's that?
It's really the neurodivergent power hour. You can't tell me that any of these main characters are neurotypical.
Okay, sure.
Mari hangs out with teenagers.
Yeah.
And Yui is Yui. She's kind of clueless in herself. And Kokone doesn't really understand social stuff. And Ran understands social stuff too much, so she knows that she has to hide her neurodivergency.
Yeah, are you saying that perhaps none of these girls are like the other girls? I mean, Mary isn't a girl, but he's a they-them who is unlike any other they-them.
Yes, also I have to say really quick, because I'm concerned people will not get it, he's a they-them is an inside joke. So at one point, my mom, who, bless her heart, she has the spirit, she was talking about how she feels people should be allowed to live their best lives and be happy. And she says, whether you're a man, a woman, or and she pauses, and she kind of stumbles over her words, and she goes, or a they, them. And that was just really funny to us. So that's why we keep saying it like that.
Yeah, absolutely. We are an inclusive podcast, and, non-binary people are legit. Trans men are men, trans women are women. But also it's a little fun to kind of...
To say Mari is a they, them.
About a fictional character, right? I think that's a little different than saying it about a real person or celebrity or friend or whatever.
Well, and when I was talking about neurodivergency, I was originally going to say, Mari has some gender differences going on. And then I went, that doesn't count, though, right? Are people going to be mad you're conflating the two? Mm. And while I will say, no, you can be neurotypical and be trans, a pretty large percentage of neurodivergent people are somewhere on the trans spectrum. It's pretty common. So.
Interesting.
Anyway, that's been your neurodivergency corner.
Neurodivergency corner, where there's lots of fidget toys and different textures to feel.
Absolutely. So we have Pride Month, and I think that's wonderful. We have Black History Month, and that's wonderful. When are the neurodivergents going to get their own month? Because, April is supposedly Autism Awareness Month. Well, first of all, if you're involved in neurodivergent spaces, you've probably heard rants like this before. We're all aware of autism. It's an acceptance or self-pride thing that I think is important. But second of all, autism is not the only neurodivergency out there. It's not even the only developmental disability out there. ADHD is a developmental disability. Cerebral palsy is a developmental disability. The neurodivergents deserve their own Pride Month is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Absolutely. Write your Congress people and let them know, because...
Yeah, also, Autism Awareness Month was started by Autism Speaks, and that's not an organization that I support personally.
Absolutely.
Sorry. Joel actually asked me before the podcast if he could talk about political stuff, and I was like, let's avoid that. And now I've, made an explicit statement. So, I'm just a hypocrite, I guess. Joel... Do you have anything else to say on this super, super cash podcast?
I thought you were going to say, do you have any hot political takes? And I was about to clear my throat and be like, well, actually, no. These episodes were cute. I do want to shout out, there was a part in Rand's episode where they're hit by, a laser beam, and it was, a constant thing that was pinning them to the ground, but Ran decided that she needed to take action and she was going to fight for Kuwabara's precious memories. Side note, they are getting lazier and lazier with establishing the importance of these memories. There's a part where he hasn't even mentioned that he has a fondness for this stew. Ran just saw a look on his face that she interpreted as a happy memory, which to me just looked like he was just zoning out, he didn't get enough sleep last night. And he just kind of looks at the stew after the Ubazao rest of pee happens, and he goes, I think I'm forgetting a memory.
Yeah, he literally says, I feel like I've forgotten a precious memory.
Oh, man. But anyways, so Ran's all pumped up. She's going to fight for Kuwabara, and she does her ultra crunchy blades. Ultra crunchy cutter blades. Okay, thank you. She does sell seashells by the seashore.
But the value of those shells will fall.
Due to the laws of supply and demand, no one wants to buy shells because there's loads on the sand.
But anyways, she wraps them around her arm in order to, dig down. It was pretty cool. It was kind of creative. I was wondering if she was going to get a mech of noodles, and I'm still holding out we have another 30 episodes to go, 40 episodes to go. Please give Ran a noodle mech. But no, I like that. I like them using their powers in more creative ways.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say we don't have any sweet sound bites this week, but we actually do. We have two things that I wanted to share. First, that one, Welder Guy James, his thoughts on episode 15 were, if I had a nickel for every time Kokone daydreams about her girlfriends in this episode, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird it's happened twice. Kokone is new to being a lesbian, so she just wants to think about that all the time.
It is funny though, because the episode was about her first picnic, and before she actually goes, she has a mental image of dancing in a field of flowers with Ran and Yui, and I believe the girls might as well, but the energy fairies for sure have little flower crowns. And at one point during the actual picnic, she goes, "Should we all dance?" And everyone's like, "You're kind of weird." Being weird is the motif of this season.
I told you, it's the season for neurodivergence.
But yeah, that was a great observation. Thank you, James.
Thank you, James. The other one is we got spun off in the Discord on an Arrested Development.
Oh, yes, we did. Well, how did that start? Do you remember?
Yeah, so James said that the girl who likes Takumi because he likes mayo on his egg reminds him of Anne from Arrested Development, who puts mayonnaise on boiled eggs and calls it a mayo egg.
Okay, and which one is Anne? Is that the sister?
No, she's the girlfriend of Michael Cera's character.
Okay, the cousin or whatever.
The ongoing joke, not the cousin, his actual girlfriend, but the ongoing joke is that she's so bland that A, no one knows when she's there.
Oh yes, okay, I do remember her.
Yeah, the dad just calls her Egg because he can't remember her actual name. But my favorite one from this back and forth was James's Yui, te amo, Amane. What? Yui, I love you, Amane. Great, now I'm late for class.
Absolutely.
I love Arrested Development. Joel didn't watch it with me when I had discovered it with my college roommate, and then when I tried to be like, no, look, it's really funny, they say funny things, he was like, these people are terrible, and I was like, that's why it's funny, and he's like, no, they're just terrible.
It wasn't my vibe. See, you could also say that all the characters in Archer are also awful people, which they are, and I really liked the humor of Archer for the first couple of seasons, kind of a thing. And I would say that all of the people... What's the other one where everyone's jerks to each other? There's another show that's like that. And I like those... No. But I like some of those shows, and I sometimes like the humor of, like, one kind of jerk who is like the odd person out. There's an episode of Parks and Rec where Andy says something like, "Tom said that this is okay." And then there's a pause and he goes, "That means it's not okay." And like, that's my favorite joke with Tom because I don't really like mean characters. So Arrested Development was just a little bit too much cringe for my tastes. I understand why people like it. I get some of the jokes, but I just had too hard of a time watching those episodes.
Absolutely, that's fair. I love one of my favorite tropes in literature particularly is the unreliable narrator trope. And I love that this show is presented to you as the main character is the only nice and normal person in his family, but if you pay attention, he's just as big of a dick as the rest of them. And that just strikes me as really, really funny. And I can't tell you why. I think it's just the lack of self-awareness. Like, if I knew this guy, I'd punch him.
Or it's kind of like... It's not exactly the same thing, but it's a little bit like the nice guy culture where they think that they're the good person, but they actually, in trying to be a good person, hide their, like, actual flaws kind of a thing. And so, yeah, I could get that. And again, there's the episode with, like, St. Peter's or whatever that school is called. That one had me dying from laughing. I loved that episode. It's just... There's a lot of misses for my personal taste, and that's why I don't like it.
Absolutely. I have precious memories watching it with my most favorite roommate and bestest friend. And so every time I think of that show, I think of them and I smile. I'm of two minds on talking about next week's episode. Because on one hand, we say the title of the episode and we talk about it a little bit every week. On the other hand, what the What, Toei? Why would you do this? They put, like, an explicit spoiler in the title, so if you are avoiding spoilers and you don't read the titles for the next episodes, like, I don't want to ruin it for people.
Okay, so I will say this. I think that I don't know what the most hardcore spoiler-free people look like. I don't know if there are people who skip the previews for next episode because that's too much. I don't consider something that was shown in the preview to be considered a spoiler because it's part of the episode that's already aired. So if you are trying to avoid spoilers, skip ahead by about a minute. But next episode is titled, "The Fourth PreCure? Amane's Choice." My only question is this a fake out?
Yes.
Okay.
It has to be, because I will hate it if she just joins the team. Like, if she just wakes up from her nap and they're like, do you want to be a PreCure? And she's like, yep, and then that's it.
Toei doesn't strike me, like, PreCure specifically doesn't strike me as the sort of show that kind of fakes you out. They won't have an episode called, like, Yui Dies or something, but it's actually that Yui fell down a hole or something and they couldn't find her, but then she pops out at the end of the episode.
I will say, historically, episode 17 is around when all of the mid-season cures show up.
Sure, but the only thing that I'm thinking of is that sometimes they introduce the idea of the fourth cure before the actual fourth cure is born. So Fresh PreCure specifically introduced Aki, I think its name was, the red key, and they thought for sure that it was going to be one character and ended up being another. So the fourth PreCure with a question mark might be that, like, they find a mysterious energy fairy and they're like, who's this going to go along with? And Amane might choose, like, I want to help the PreCure, but she might not become the PreCure if she is the fourth cure until, like, next episode or something like that.
Okay, I would like that. So it says Amane's choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're all in favor of women making choices.
That's not related to anything that happened recently in politics.
Not at all. Nope. But I think it's presented as the choice between becoming a PreCure or not becoming a PreCure. But what if it's the choice between becoming PreCure or going back to Godats?
I mean, I that's kind of what I was thinking, right? Because they brainwashed her so heavily, and I mean, I wonder if there is a limit to how much Narsatoru can mind control. I guess I'm a little bit too used to, like, Brandon Sanderson, who has, like, hard rules for his magic systems, and I would personally prefer that mind control can't change you too much from your original personality. And so maybe there is some level of respect for Godats, and so she does want to go back, and, like, so long as we can get rid of Narsatoru, everything will be fine. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Do you think something in specific is going to wake her up, or do you think she just needed time to restore her soul or whatever?
I think she just needed time, probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
Will this be the episode when Ran finally gets to kiss Amane's hot twin brothers? Twins? Ooh, that's scrunkly.
All right. And with that, do you have any crack theories? This show, much like Tropical Rouge, doesn't really lend itself to crack theories at this point.
Not in the same way. Here's my crack theory.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't see Takumi in this episode.
Right.
Not at all. No, that's not true. We saw him one time. He was looking out a window.
That's right.
But he didn't show up for the fight.
Yeah, Black Pepper was gone.
So, I think that Amane will be given the option to become PreCure, and then he will steal her watch, her heart cure watch, because he needs to be alerted to when the fights are happening. He has no way of knowing. He didn't even know there was a beef stew attack.
Oh my gosh. Or imagine if he put Yui in one of those child harnesses with the little leash. You're not going anywhere without me. Why not? Reasons.
And that has been your final thought.
Outro goes here.
Thanks for listening, everyone, and don't forget to put red wine in your stew. It brings out the flavors of the beef.
PreCure.
Thank you all for joining us for another delicious plateful of
Cure of the What Now.
Please take a moment to rate and review wherever you get your podcasts from.
Or if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to leave a comment, a like, or lick that subscribe bell so you know when the new episodes are going up.
Did you just say lick it?
Well, yeah, we're baking delicious foods. It's a delicious party.
Anyway, you can find me on Twitter at PirateGhostHost. Please don't lick me.
Can you even lick a ghost? I'm on Twitter at Cotwin_pod.
KOTWN_pod.
Absolutely. And as always, the Discord link is in the Twitter bio and also in the YouTube description.
Come join us for weekly discussions, streams, and all of the PreCure your heart can handle. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Yum. Or no, I'm full!